Just in case.
Yeah?
Deny, deny, deny. No matter what she knows or thinks she knows, deny it.
But what if she really knows?
Deny it.
But what if she
deny.
really... But what if
deny. Deny.
Charlie!
What?
What are you doing?
Where?
There, with her.
Who?
Her. How could you?
What?
That.
When?
When I came in, you and she would...
Who?
You know very well who. That woman there.
Where?
Charlie!
What?
You and that woman!
What woman?
The one who just left.
When?
But Charlie,
What?
aren't you even ashamed of yourself?
Why?
Because of... Charlie,
What?
what would you like for dinner?
Welcome, family, to another edition of Stranger Thinking Media. This is Yeshayahu, where we bring you the gospel of Yahusha HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, to address the problems of a modern world. And today's topic, the nations have cast a spell upon the chosen. Topic 1, deny, deny, deny. Let the nations rage. And how long? Psalm 83. Keep not thou silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. Deny, deny, deny. Sounds simple enough, but it's very powerful. Psalm 83. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. So what it appears like is that the rest of the nations have come together, whether they realize it or not, whether it's written down on a piece of paper, whether there's a formal agreement or not. It appears that from the fall of Israel, that when the Assyrians took them into captivity, that the beast nations were able to rise up. So it appears, because that did not happen prior to that, it appears that the nation of Israel was the doorstop, that these Gentile nations could not rise up except that Israel be taken out of the way. And one thing they will never allow to happen, if it is up to them, whether they know it consciously or unconsciously, Israel can never come back, because that would mean the end of the Gentile world powers. And so they are Confederate. They conspire together to ensure that Israel remains under their foot. So we watched that little video about deny, deny, deny. I remember that movie. I'm a little kid and I'm flipping through channels and that pops up, and I found it fascinating that this guy, this is just one scene out of that movie, but I believe the name of the movie was, well, I won't say the name of the movie, but the power of just denying something. That woman walks in on her husband and the two give each other a look, the two conspirators, and they already had it planned out. They didn't have to say anything. They just looked at each other and went into mode. And they just started denying. She kept her mouth shut. The husband just kept saying, what, who, where, when, why? And the power of that, any con man knows the power of that. We tend to think of, casting spells as some, something out of Macbeth, double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. We must away ere break of day before the brindled cat hath mewed. I remember that from Macbeth. Shakespeare is burned into my mind. And that's the picture everybody gets when they think about witchcraft. And, and in magic, you think of these hideous characters wearing pointy hats, or voodoo, or Santeria, where they got a chicken and they're spreading chicken blood everywhere. No, it's not always that crazy. Witchcraft is the most effective witchcraft is what you just saw. Deny, deny, deny. Emphatically deny. Don't argue, deny. Just deny. And what it does in the mind of of another human being is it basically just puts doubt in his mind. You've cast a spell. And so I see that happening all the time. I see it in the workplace. I see it just in general life. I see it in the home, Everybody's casting spells. You ever wonder why, when you're a little kid in school, you have to learn letters and they call it spelling? Spelling. Words are spells. And some people have mastered it. And, a lot of these politicians have mastered casting spells. They're not sprinkling chicken blood. They're not sacrificing goats. They are casting spells with words. That's why they call it spelling, right? I mean, most people don't even think about that. Why would they call it spelling? Because that's what words do. They cast spells. His denials were spells. So, if you think about it, if you were going into a job interview or anything else, and they ask you what your background is, and you said, and I'm not picking on anybody, I'm just using this as an example, and you said you were Chinese, and you're wearing Chinese garb, and you got a patch on your breast that says, I am Chinese. And then the interviewer looks at you and says, you're Norwegian. Well, how would you take that? You would probably say, no, I said I'm Chinese. Can't you tell? He says, no, you're Norwegian. So he's casting a spell. And then you can argue with him. I mean, but if he's in that mode of casting that spell, before you leave that office, you'll be thinking you're Norwegian, right? Or if you come in there and he says, oh, you're a duck. Well, no, I speak English, and I have 2 legs, 2 arms, 2 hands, 2 feet, and I'm an intellectual, I can do all human things. And he says, no, you're a duck. And you're just quacking. And, before you leave that office, you'll be thinking you're a duck. Now, how insane would that actually be? And yet we see it every day, believe it or not. People get in your head, whether you know it or not, they put something in there and it stays there and you become that thing. So, we've gotten into this thing of, for instance, race. Well, I plan on doing some videos on that. The bottom line is there is no such thing. It's a total and complete political construct. And, I'd rather not talk about it too much because I'm planning on doing some videos on that. But it's a construct that literally came about in about the 1600s, because before that, it was just about ethnicity. And now we have whole structures built on this fabricated concept. And a lot of us are just reduced to being Crayola crayon colors rather than an ethnicity with a culture. And so if you want to destroy a people, simple. You cast a spell. First of all, you take away any knowledge of self. You take away their culture. You take away their religion or their belief system. You take away their name. You don't tell them how old they are. You literally, if a man thinks he's 20 when he's really 55, you got him in total confusion, because he's going to operate from a certain perspective, like he's going to live forever, because that's how 20-year-olds think. When the truth is, he's halfway through, or more than halfway through his life, and you want to keep him thinking that way. So all this is just a big spell, and it's global, and it targets us. Really, it targets a specific group is what it's done. And you got to ask yourself, why are the nations gathered together against this one group of people? Worldwide, really. And so these scriptures come to mind. So I won't belabor it. We'll move on a little bit. But you can see what I'm saying. And if you want to know who's the dangerous one, just look at who everybody is Confederate against, who they have teamed up to defeat, to stop. And they had to team up because there's something very powerful about that group or that individual, that they have to team up, confederate themselves together to stop that person or nation or ethnicity. So Psalm 83, verse 5, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Asher also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot, Selah. So again, the concept of being confederate against that thing which stands in your way. So Psalms 2. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth have set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord, Yahweh, and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. So they take counsel together against those that are anointed by the Most High, Yahweh Eloheinu, and saying, let us break their bands asunder. Bands, so something was holding them down. Something was keeping them from becoming what they wanted to become. Let the nations rage. Psalms 83. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and Zeeb. Yeah, all their princes as Zeba and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God, the houses of Elohim in possession. O my Elohim, make them like a wheel as the stubble before the wind. So you see here, the nations have decided, let us take their houses, meaning the Yah's anointed, his Kodeshim, let us take their houses in possession. Let us take their land in possession. Let us take their scriptures in possession. Let us take everything from them to our possession and let us claim them. This is an old theme. The nations are at rage. They're raging against this group of people coming back together. This group of people that was the plug in the dam. This group of people that kept the Gentile powers from rising out of the abyss. They removed them. And how they removed them is like Balaam, the era of Balaam, where he taught the nations how to defeat the children of Israel. He said, they are a blessed people. They cannot be cursed, but they can curse themselves. And how do they curse themselves? Literally, the children of Israel were unstoppable. They were set to be the head of all nations. Unstoppable, unbeatable, and uncursable. But they could curse themselves. And how could they curse themselves? He says, choose thou this day blessing or cursing. You see, if they keep the commandments of the Most High Yahweh Eloheinu, then they are blessed, and above all nations. But when they fail to keep these commandments, then they become the tail and a laughing stock and despised. And the nations who are confederated against them, they win and they obtain the blessing. So it's kind of weird, everywhere Israel is held captive, that nation actually gets their blessing. So they're captives in a land. I mean, we can go through, all you have to do is read the Bible and see the nations that have captured or enslaved Israel, that they receive Israel's blessing. And Israel's in the midst of them having to watch their blessing being enjoyed by their oppressors, all because they cursed themselves by not keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. And that's a heavy thing. People not getting it. And you sit up in these churches where, they harp on grace. But there's a scripture that says, I will have obedience and not sacrifice. I believe that was in 1 Samuel. But the first thing is obedience. Yeah, I get it. The inward man fights against the outward man. The new man fights against the old man. But you don't turn grace into license. And at the end of the day, when you understand that by running that stop sign, yeah, there's no cop around, but you ran the stop sign, went into that intersection, got hit by a Mack truck, right? There's consequences. And Yah told you what the consequences were. If you don't obey his commandments, you will suffer the consequences. Yet as an advocate, and his blood was shed for the remission of sins, but that doesn't mean that if you, for instance, if you commit murder, yeah, Yah might forgive you. The Most High might forgive you, if you repent. But guess what? You're still going to jail. So what the scriptures say that even rulers are put and governments are put in place, not for now we're talking righteous governments, but in general, governments and laws are put in place. I'm talking secular laws to keep order for the most part, And so, yeah, you might be forgiven your sin and in the resurrection you come up righteous, but you're going to have to pay the price for committing that sin. You're not getting away with it. You're not going out there and cheating on your wife and thinking it's not going to have an effect because I prayed about it and God has forgiven me. Yeah, God has forgiven you. The Most High has forgiven you because you earnestly repented and you meant it. You didn't repent because you got caught. You actually meant it. Still doesn't mean you're not going to suffer. And that penalty would be righteous. So don't go complaining to the Most High that I thought you were going to forgive me. Yeah, he forgave you, but sin is death. You're still going to pay the price. That's all of us, right? So I'll leave it at that for now. But yeah, disobedience to the Most High is death. Because he is life. You can't go against life and it not be death. You turn on a light switch, darkness flees away. You turn it off, darkness enters in. They don't coexist. Psalm 83, verse 14. As the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountain on fire, so persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yeah, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, not Jehovah, art the Most High over all the earth. And this is the King James Version, so you know this. There's that little, there's that letter J that didn't exist until 1550, but his name is Yahweh. And some people pronounce it Yahweh, some people pronounce it Yahuwah, but that's just idiomatic. The key is Yah. That's his eternal nature. And I'm going to do a video on that too, another one. But you notice they call it the thing we exist in, they call it the space-time continuum. Well, by telling us his name is Yahweh, Ahaya, Asher, Ahaya, you know. He said, I am that I am, denoting eternality. What he's saying is, I am not bound by the space-time continuum. I am outside that system. I created that system. Nothing eternal could be part of the space-time continuum because time has a beginning. Okay, it's like a scale. It's either 0 to a billion or 1 inch to 12 inches, basically. There's a scale. It has a beginning and it has an ending. He's saying I'm outside of that. I'm eternal in all directions, right? I am that I am. And I know most people don't think of it that way, but for those scientists who understand what I'm saying, you know I'm right. Something does not come from nothing, at least not without some kind of input. Psalms 2 in chapter 4, or verse 4. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure. So judgment is coming. So the nations have their time until the times of the nations or Gentiles be at an end. And all the lies that have been told will come to an end. How long? How long? That question has been asked. Revelation 6 and verse 9. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of Yah and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? So the Kodashim have suffered. So when these preachers tell you, oh, you can live God meant for you, God meant for you to live a good life. But with the fall of Adam, we entered into something, by the sweat of your brow shall you toil and eat bread, right? So that paradise kind of went out the window. Now we got to go through the fire. And, for these preachers to be telling you this prosperity crap, look, the believers, the true believers in this life, I'm telling you, like Paul said, if there's no resurrection, then in this life we are most miserable. Why? Because of the situation. If you're going to follow the Messiah, you're going to take up your cross. You will suffer. The nations will be against you, whether they even consciously understand it or not. You will be 180 degrees out from what they believe. And what they believe is vain. Jeremiah, one cut us a tree out of the forest and fastens it with nails so it moved not. And they decorate it with silver and gold. Yeah, that's what the nations do. And the Most High says that's vain. In vain do they worship me. But they do it every year, right? As if they're really, really honoring the Messiah or the Father in heaven by decorating their trees with silver and gold. And I mean, come on, people. You don't get to make the rules. And I recently did a video about that where, Friedrich Nietzsche was talking about that. He's a German philosopher, whatever. But, if you take this deity, if you take the Most High out of the picture, then how can you say you'll have a more moral world when all your morality is based on what? The scriptures, the belief in God, basically. I mean, literally, if you want to push God out the picture, now you have to come up with your version of a moral structure. Else you'll have chaos and anarchy and people. I mean, what makes murder wrong? Be honest with you, because kind of the scriptures say so. I mean, ultimately, everybody comes from the same place. The cultures today all come out of Babylon, where everybody was of one speech and one understanding and blah, blah, blah. And then they spread across the earth after their language was confounded. But they took that with them. The code of Hammurabi was based on laws set down by the Most High. They all go back to the same point. It's inherent. We know, and even in the Constitution, a republic is founded on certain God-given rights that are obvious only because we know the scriptures. And most of our laws worldwide are based on these understandings. If there was no God, no creator, we wouldn't have these understandings. It wouldn't be wrong to steal. I mean, what says it's wrong to steal? You have to think that through. There's really only one thing saying it's wrong to steal, and that's the law set down from the Most High. Whether it's in the form of Torah or in, if you're Christian, you're probably, even Christians still give heed to the Ten Commandments, at least 9 of them. Somehow they can rationalize, that one over there, that's the one we're not going to do that one, which makes it very hypocritical, by the way. That's just crazy. Oh, the law, yes. The 10 Commandments. Well, the Christians might as well call it 9 commandments. How are you doing away with the Sabbath day? Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. You can't do that. Because if you fail in one part of the law, you fail the whole law. If Adam ate a fruit and that's all he did, eating a fruit is not inherently evil. But it's disobedience because Yah told him not to eat that fruit. So the key to all of this is disobedience. If Yah tells you not to eat this fruit and you do it, to him it is sin, right? So anyway, I'll continue on. This video is getting long. So yeah, Revelation 6 verse 9, and when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of Yah and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? So it's coming. It's coming. Revelation 6 verse 11, and white robes were given unto every one of them. And it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were, should be fulfilled. So again, going back to that prosperity gospel nonsense, right here is telling you that the judgment is awaiting the fellow servants and their brethren that they should be killed. So it's going to get so bad. It's already bad that if you speak sound doctrine, people are going to try to kill you. Right? It's insane. But that's what happened in the beginning. You know, they were thrown to lions and lit on fire to light up the Roman Colosseum. And the Roman Empire is still around. Do not be deceived. I don't care what they call those nations now. The Roman Empire and its Babylonian system are in full effect right now. You just have to have eyes to see and ears to hear. And it's obvious to some of us, but not so obvious to others. But anyway, so the nations are doing everything possible and specific. You know, the Roman Empire is the vehicle of oppression. It is the culmination of the Gentile powers. It is their masterpiece. It cannot be destroyed by men. In fact, it's being saved because the Most High himself wants to come down and personally destroy this beast. So I'll let you think about that. And we are definitely in the last days, and don't give heed to fables, people saying that, oh, the millennial reign of Christ is already come and gone. You know, I think they're called preterists. Don't give heed to that. Psalms 2, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. Farewell, family. I love you all so much, and thank you so much for continually supporting my content. If you did enjoy this video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. And share this with your friends and family. I'm sure they find it interesting as well. I'm very excited to continue this journey with you. And thank you all for bringing certain stories to my attention and for continually keeping me updated on certain events around the world. I very much appreciate you all. And shout out to the channel members. And may everybody have a beautiful and blessed day who's in the body of Messiah, Yahusha HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ of Nazareth. And I'll see you on the next video. Shalom.